Hi, my name is Arjun Ganesh. I'm the Director of Product Adoption at Contentful, and I'm here to talk through our product vision and some of our recent releases. Gen AI is here. Your teams are probably using it. A lot of our customers are using it. AI is playing a big part in making localization and translation easy. Content creation, if you want a starting point for a marketing page, or if you want to use chatbots, AI makes it very seamless and very quick. Personalization. So we believe AI is going to play a big part in personalization, especially when you are across multiple markets, even if you have multiple products and multiple customer segments, then in order to create content to cater to that combination or a specific combination of market, product, and customer segment, it's quite challenging to have like a single content or multiple variations of that content, and you would need a team to maintain it. And this is where we believe AI could create multiple variations of the same content once you pass the customer segment to it. But for AI to do its job well, you need good quality content. You need content that is structured and that can be consumed quite easily when you're building an LLM by an AI agent product, whatever you're using. And also, you need to tag or provide taxonomy to that content so that the AI engine interprets the content the way you want it to interpret it, so that it makes intelligent decisions. And finally, having all your content in a single repository will give you that unified source of truth that you can use to build your LLM. So it shouldn't be as a surprise if you're a customer of Contentful. You already know that we store content and structured content. We are API, we are a API-based product so content can be easily retrieved by AI engines for consumption. And we recently released taxonomy. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. That will give you the ability to add more intelligence to the content. That will make it easier for AI engines to interpret what the content is. We also recently launched Studio, and combined with the AI capabilities on the platform and already super strong developer tools and capabilities on the platform, we wanted to enable marketers to have full freedom or with governance on top to be able to build digital experiences themselves without having to rely on engineering teams. So Studio provides that capability, and I am going to be talking about Studio as well. And with the, once the engineering team sets up the Studio, Studio gives the marketing team the full flexibility along with the AI features to go and build awesome experiences and scale it. So this is our platform architecture today. We have the Contentful Platform that you all, as a customer, work in day out right now, and you have access to our ecosystem where you can install third-party apps and plug and play with third-party systems. We have now introduced or in the process of introducing AI features across our platform, and we have launched Contentful Studio so that marketers can leverage our platform and have the freedom to build, as I said, experiences on their own. With that in mind, let's jump into some of our recent releases. I'm going to start with the Contentful Platform out of the three pillars. So this includes the web app. You would have all noticed that over the last few months, we made some minor tweaks and changes on the interface, so you can navigate to content faster. You can see who is online inside the web app from your team, from your company, who's working on the same entry. You will see their avatars pop up next to the fields. And also, we launched the capability to search across multiple content types. And this was an ask from a lot of our customers to be able to have a better search. And we are going to revamp how our search works, and I have a slide later down the line. But yeah, we are improving our search, and the first step in that direction is allowing you to search across multiple types. We launched workflows around mid to end of last year. This is to keep content flowing. You can define content lifecycle. You can push content through multiple teams and stages and get people to review content, approve content before it is published. It's great for governance, great to move content across multiple teams. So we launched a new feature where you can have multiple workflow definitions for a content type. Previously, you were only allowed one workflow definition for a content type. So right now, if you want to have the content go through review first and then go through legal before you publish, you can do that. As I mentioned earlier, we launched taxonomy. Taxonomy is a great feature to categorize content. You may have already been using tags. Tags is very ad hoc. Taxonomy comes with, like more control, more governance, especially if you're using personalization, if you're using, if you might have customer segments, for example, and you might want to bring it into your taxonomy so that you can tag content for those customer segments, or you might have a PIM system with taxonomy for your product that you want to bring in here and and attach taxonomy to content so that you can pull content related to your product. Taxonomy is a new feature. We are going to be launching more features across taxonomy. It's available now. You can start building taxonomy and importing it from existing taxonomy system. We launched live preview, I think it was early last year. If you're not sure what live preview is, it's a way to preview your website inside the web app. It also gives you the capability to hover around a text or an image, and this little edit button pops up, and you can click on edit, and that'll open the respective entry that you need to edit. You can see what that new changes look like straight away, and then if you're happy with it, save it, publish it, and move forward. If you are using live preview, bringing that edit, your developers need to do some work to bring that edit button. We made that easy. We call it the content source maps. This is to help your developers quickly set up that inspector mode where the editors can hover around content and edit it within live preview. We launched the AI content generator towards the end of last year, where you can create some basic content, SEO keywords, and so on. We now have AI content translation. The AI content translation supports a limited number of languages right now, predominantly European languages, and I believe there may be Japanese in the Asian market. But yeah, we use AI to translate any existing content to the language to the language that you choose. All right, so we also launched locale-based publishing. So locale-based publishing is if you're using the built-in locales for publishing content across multiple markets or regionalization, publishing content across multiple markets using regionalization or publishing content across multiple languages, and if you have validations across this content, then you need to satisfy the validations across all the locales that you have in the system before publishing it. So with locale-based publishing, you don't need to do that. You can publish the content that is ready, and you can then come back and get the content for, let's say you can publish the content for the Australian market when it's ready, and then you can work on the content for the New Zealand market, and when that is ready, publish it separately. All right, moving on to some of the recent technical features that we launched. Functions. Functions is a way to run custom code inside Contentful. So this is super powerful. So at the moment, in order to execute any kind of business logic, any kind of custom code, you would have had to run it on a Lambda function on AWS or a serverless function. You would have had to write a serverless function and execute it on outside Contentful. You would have had to maintain like a middleware. For example, if you're integrating your commerce platform with Contentful, you most likely have a middleware that talks to Contentful, talks to your commerce platform, and then stitches it all together for your front end to consume. With functions, you can call Contentful, and Contentful will do the heavy lifting. You can execute custom code using functions, which will go and talk to your commerce platform or any other proprietary platform and stitch all that and send it back to you in a single response, nice and efficiently. So you don't have to host a middleware separately, and you and also your front end can use Contentful as the source of truth, and Contentful can tie in multiple content systems together. So you can also use functions across, if you're using the app framework, you can use functions across the app framework, as well as you can use functions in webhook requests as well. Um, if you, we launched a new feature where, talking about webhooks, we launched a new feature where if you want webhook requests to have HMAC signatures, then we support that now at a layer of security, so you know that the ask is legitimate from Contentful. This was a feature we launched a while back. I just wanted to call it out because it came up in a lot of my conversations with customers. We support Upload Federation. So if you are using Upload Gateway Server, and if you have multiple GraphQL subgraphs, and you can, Contentful supports that now. All right, a quick call out to the content visual modeler, which is a visual way to content model. We launched it again last year. If you're not using it, highly recommend using it for auditing your existing content models or creating new content models, collaborating on content models. It is accessible from within your web app as long as you have permissions to access it. All right, moving on to governance. API token management. So this is great for administrators who are managing CMA tokens in your organization. This dashboard shows you, the CMA tokens and whom it's assigned to when it expires, and so on. It's easy to audit the tokens across your entire organization. If you're not aware, the Contentful Learning Center has a lot of courses. It's free. You have access to videos and training materials that will enable to onboard new team members in your team or existing team members learning new features that we have launched. And you can now access it using your Contentful username and password. So you don't, if you have SSO, your Contentful SSO, you don't need previously you had to register separately for the Contentful Learning Center. All right, this was an ask from some of our large organizations. So in the event that Contentful platform is under attack, like a DDoS attack, then they wanted the security teams to be notified. So now this is possible. You can put your security team's contact details, and in the unlikely event of us Contentful coming under attack, we will notify them. This is new Preview Center. So Preview Center is a little feature inside the web app, and it shows all our alpha and beta features that we have launched. And if you want to use them, you can request access to those features so that we can enable it on your platform. All right, so we started enabling EU data residency. So customers who didn't want their content stored in US had the choice to create new organizations in EU's data in the EU AWS instance. And we had some limitations on what features are available. And at this stage, we can say that EU, if you're hosting in EU, you will have feature parity with US. Okay, moving on to our second pillar, Contentful Studio. So Studio was launched a few months ago. And as I mentioned earlier, Studio is, for the lack of a better word, like a WYSIWYG editor. And it provides or enables your marketers to change the layout of the website. You can move the images, they can move the buttons, or they can change the components on the page. They can choose a banner or a hero image or a card or a 3-card layout or a 2-card layout and so on and so forth. With Studio, you can bring in your design system elements. So from your design, whatever design system you use, like Figma. So your UX designers can design um, how your buttons are going to look or how some of the cards are going to look, and you can import that into Studio, and you can create patterns using those design elements. So patterns are essentially a way to put together multiple design elements. So for example, you can put together like an image and a button and some text and create a pattern. So this will be saved for your editors to drag and drop into the canvas. The center area is what we call as the canvas, where your editors can drag and drop these design patterns. And then they can go ahead and attach existing images and existing content to this. So it still is built on top of the Contentful platform. So it still maintains, it still stores everything as entries, as structured content. You still get the content reusability and all the benefits of Contentful. This is a way to visually stitch content together for your editors, for them to have the flexibility to move components around and design the layout of the page without having to raise engineering tickets. So reiterating it again, so you have the design system elements that you import from your design system so that you can maintain your brand and whatever design your UX team decides. And then you can build patterns so that patterns give that layer of governance so that when content creators drag and drop patterns, you already can set the font, the heading, the size, and so on and so forth. So they just focus on the text, on the images, rather than the design of that pattern. And then you have the underlying benefit of the Contentful CMS, and all the editors work on the experience canvas in the middle. With Studio, we launched recently roles and permissions specific to Studio, so you can control who can edit experiences and who can edit experiences and patterns and so on. We also support server-side rendering with Studio in addition to client-side rendering. Cool. We are moving into ecosystem. Some of our recent launches on our marketplaces. So we now support Microsoft Teams. If you are using workflows and you want notification into your Microsoft Teams app, then that is now possible. We also have an app to connect with Amazon Bedrock for AI content generation. We now have an app for Amplitude. If you're using Amplitude and you want to integrate with Amplitude, this is a good starting point to do some A/B testing. Again, if you're hosting using Vercel, we now have a Vercel integration app. Again, this is a good starting point to build some live preview, some basic hosting. Right, this is actually quite interesting. We support Ada AI agent out of the box. So if you want to create a chatbot, and let's say you have FAQs or legal content or knowledge-based content inside Contentful, all you have to do is like point something like Ada to that content in Contentful, and voila, like the chatbot responds using that content to customers who are active in the chatbot. It's super straightforward, super quick. It's mind-blowingly fast. All right, those were recent releases. A quick preview to upcoming releases, what you can expect. And again, these are all work in progress. The look and feel, the feature might change based on our testing and discovery. So as I said, we are going big on AI translation. In addition to translation, we are looking at how can we use AI for content transformations seamlessly so that your teams can leverage AI inside Contentful. So this came up multiple times with some of our customers here in the ANZ region. You could have content for Christmas, and you might have a variation of that content ready to go for Boxing Day. Currently, you would have 2 entries, one for Christmas, one for Boxing Day, whereas with campaign preview, we want you to be able to have the same content and look at variations of that content that you may release across multiple days and what that looks like. All right, so Similar to what I was talking about with functions, we want to unify. We want Contentful to be the single source for so that your product content and content from other systems can be stitched inside Contentful. So we are looking at um, how can we make that more seamless. So if you are bringing in content from external systems, or you want to look and feel um, similar to our internal references. All right, orchestration, if you have multiple spaces and if you are orchestrating content across these spaces, for example, you might have a Australian space and a New Zealand space, and you might have some shared legal content across these countries. And traditionally, I mean, right now, you be like pulling content from a central location. We are exploring how to make that even easier, possibly pushing content from a central location to multiple markets. Taxonomy, we are beefing up the taxonomy feature over the upcoming weeks and months. You will get to see more taxonomy features released. So we are bringing localization to taxonomies. We want to bring in the ability to easily import and export taxonomy into Contentful so that you can import taxonomy from other systems. And we are bringing more granular roles and permissions to taxonomy so that you can have control over who creates taxonomies, who updates taxonomies, who can view taxonomies, and so on. As I mentioned earlier, we are making changes to search so that it's easier to find and reuse content. Some other additions that we are exploring now is to be able to search content using URLs. So if you're on your website and you want to pull all the content all the entries that is used to build that URL, build that site, you can copy the URL and search it inside Contentful, and that'll pull all the entries. And if you're using JSON objects inside Contentful, then we want to make it searchable as well. And we are in the early stages of evolving the search bar so that it's easier and provides you more options to be able to find content and discover content inside Contentful. Audit logs, if there's a requirement for you to store audit events, then we can now export audit from Contentful into an Amazon S3 bucket or an Azure storage. Customers who are using big asset users, we now have a dashboard that shows the asset bandwidth that your organization is using. And that's it. That's it from me. Thank you. This was a really quick, short rundown of what I presented in Sydney and Melbourne during the product launch. Hope it was useful, gives you a small snippet view of across our new feature releases. If you have any questions, please reach out to your account team and we can provide you more details across some deep dive into some of these features. Thank you.